Hello everyone, welcome to Hauntings and History, the show where we discuss hauntings and the histories behind them. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. KwaZulu-Natal National Botanical Garden, Pietermaritzburg. I work the night shift at the KwaZulu-Natal National Botanical Garden. Most people know it as a peaceful place. Sunlight through the trees, the kids laughing in the play area, families braaiing on a Sunday afternoon. But when the gates close, a different version of the garden settles in. A quieter one. Still beautiful, yes, but with an edge. Something you feel more than you see. My rounds start near the Plane Tree Avenue, where the tree trunks all line up like sentries, perfectly spaced and always too still after dark. I check the fences, circle past the children's play area, then sweep past the Clivia Dam, where the frogs croak in the reeds and the shadows linger longer than they should. Then it's onward to the themed gardens, the Zulu Demonstration Garden, the Permaculture section, and the Psycat Garden, which is where things tend to get strange. It was here between the Psycats that I first felt it. The hair on the back of my neck started rising. Then came the footsteps on the gravel, close behind me. I turned around, maybe to expect someone, a student or a teenager who'd snuck in late, but there was no one. I'm well aware of the stories, of course. Everyone who's worked here longer than a year has heard them. They say a young woman died in the garden. How exactly? No one knows. There's no record, no plaque, just whispers passed around the staff room between gardeners and guards. Some say she appears next to the flowering beds. Others swear they've seen her silhouette drift past the natural forest. One thing is for sure. She isn't malicious. She doesn't scare you, she just lingers. Like she's waiting for something that never arrived. When I pass by the insect hotel, sometimes the air grows still, even on breezy nights. Once I saw a faint white shape near the edges of the Zulu garden. It was gone when I looked again. Another time, I felt a cold gust brush against my neck, while the leaves on the ground didn't move at all. I carry a second torch now. Not because I'm afraid, but because the first time mine flickered near the Psycats. I swore I saw someone standing under the fever tree. When the light steadied, the space was empty. This garden isn't just a park, it's a living memory. Since it was founded in 1874, it's seen enormous change. It began as a colonial project, a place to test foreign species for agriculture. But over time, it became something else, something better. Now it only grows indigenous South African plants and serves as a sanctuary for rare flora and conservation. It's not just about beauty, it's about healing the land. And sometimes I wonder, what else is it trying to heal? Some nights are quiet, others are not. But I've learned not to question what I feel in the garden. I finish my rounds, nod politely to the Psycats, and never ever cut through the forest shortcuts after midnight. She's not always there, but sometimes the garden remembers, and when it does, I remember my place in it. Hartbeespoort Dam, Northwest Province. I didn't plan on walking that far. It had been one of those long, heavy days where your thoughts are louder than the world around you. I stopped at the dam just after sunset. I figured a bit of fresh air and open water might help clear my head. The wind had died down, and the sky was bruised with twilight. And the path along the Crocodile River looked so inviting in that quiet end-of-day kind of way. It was peaceful until it wasn't. The reeds were moving, but there was no breeze. The surface of the dam was glossy, but perfectly still. And yet the air felt different. Not threatening, just like something was about to happen. Like the moment before a storm. I slowed my steps, hearing nothing but the soft tread of my shoes on the gravel. And then I saw her, a woman in white, out on the water. She wasn't swimming, she wasn't walking, she was just gliding, slowly. Her head was tilted slightly, and her hair waved behind her, and I froze. For a second, just a second, I thought she might be in trouble. I opened my mouth to call out, but before I could say a word, she just vanished. Gone! No splash, no ripples, just water. I stood there for a long time after that, trying to make sense of what I'd seen. Maybe it was a trick of the light. Maybe it was exhaustion. but the feeling didn't go away. It followed me down the path where the trees cast longer shadows and the silence got even deeper. Later I mentioned it to someone at the guest house and they didn't even blink. "You saw the girl," they said. Apparently I'm not the first. People have spoken about phantom figures wandering the shoreline, flickering shadows in the fog, and whispers that drift across the dam when no one else is around. Some believe the water is cursed, not in a fairy tale sense, but in that slow, sorrowful way that comes from too much death in one place. And there's been plenty. A toddler drowned in 2015. In 2016, a party boat caught fire. 3 drowned and another one died of burns. The same year, a man tried to swim back ashore after his boat ran out of fuel. He never made it. More drownings followed in 2020 and 2022. And just recently, in 2023, 2 visitors from Singapore were pulled under while canoeing. The dam has taken its toll, and it's not just on people. The water has been choked by hyacinth, poisoned by runoff and wastewater, and suffocated by the decay of fish that wash ashore in alarming numbers. Some say the land remembers, that the dam holds what it can't forget. And maybe that's true, because Hartbeespoort wasn't always like this. Tucked in between the Magaliesberg and the Witwatersberg, it was once a place of promise. The valley had been home to the Tswana and Sotho peoples for centuries, fertile ground for farming, herding and hunting. Then came the settlers. One of them, General Hendrik Schoeman, started building a private dam wall in 1896 and naming it after his wife, Sophia. By the early 1900s, the government took over, chasing the dreams of a grand irrigation system. The Hartbeespoort Act of 1914 was passed, but nature didn't go quietly. Floods, dam breaks, court battles, and engineering failures delayed the project for years. Only in 1923 the dam was completed. By 1925 it was part of the route linking Rustenburg to Pretoria, a ribbon of ambition stretched across the water. But ambition has a cost, I guess. What started off as a monument to engineering and expansion has become a place of beauty layered with grief. Families picnic on the lawns, children laugh in the markets, and yet the water remains unnaturally still. It mirrors the sky, but hides what lies beneath. Cannon Hill, Uitenhage. I grew up in Uitenhage, right across from Cannon Hill Park. The kind of place where the grass is always a little too dry, the Hadidas have seniority, and the monument at the top watches over the whole town like it's seen too much. Our house sat directly across from the playground, close enough that on quiet nights you could hear the swings. Not kids laughing, just the metal chains creaking, slowly, back and forth. At first we thought it was the wind. Then we noticed it happened even when the air was still. It always started around midnight. My dad, a Volkswagen engineer, worked night shifts at the plant. On his nights off, he'd be home trying to get some rest. But those swings made it nearly impossible. The sound would seep through the windows. My mom once said it sounded like someone just jumped off and ran away. Only there was no one there. We started hearing faint voices too. Not full sentences, just low murmurs. Like someone's been talking to themselves. Sometimes laughing, always distant. It freaked all of us out. But my dad, being my dad, decided to do something about it. One Saturday morning he marched across the street with a wrench and took down the swings himself. He didn't ask permission, he didn't care. He said if the municipality wanted them back, they could put them back up again. But even after they were gone, on especially still nights, we'd still hear the swings. The same old sound, chains moving, the rhythm of the swing in motion. There's been lots of rumors about Cannon Hill. One of our neighbors said that the park was haunted. She told my mom that a little girl had been attacked there in the 1980s, near the monument. She said her spirit still lingers and still plays at night. I never found anything in the newspaper archives to back it up, but honestly, it doesn't matter. We heard what we heard. Behind the playground up on the hill there's a stone monument, built in 1911 to commemorate the coronation of King George V. It looks out over the town like some kind of forgotten watchtower. We used to ride our bikes up there as kids, never staying long. The wind always felt stronger near the monument, the silence heavier. Even the birds gave it space. But Cannon Hill's history goes back much further than ghost stories. In 1795, during the chaos of the French invasion of the Netherlands, the British took the Cape Colony from the Dutch to stop it falling into French hands. After a few years, it was handed back, then taken again in 1806 during the Napoleonic Wars. That's when a Dutch commissioner named Utenek de Mist came to the Cape, and where the town, my town, got its name. 2 years before that, Jacob Glen Kyler was appointed Landros, and that's when Utenek was formally founded. Later, during the 1820 settler scheme, a few thousand British families came here, most of them not prepared for the life that they were promised. Many abandoned their farms and ended up settling in towns like Grahamstown, Algoa Bay, and Utenek. Over time, the town grew, slowly. It earned its nickname Sleepy Hollow because nothing ever seemed to happen there. But there were wool washeries along the Swartkops River, a few factories, and Mill College became a source of pride. The railway arrived in the 1870s, and during the Anglo-Boer War, Cannon Hill was used as a lookout. That's where they set up the artillery, watching the roads for advancing troops. And now it watches the rest of us, a century later. The cannons are gone, but the memories remain. We don't live across from the park anymore. My parents moved years ago, but every time I visit, I make a point to drive past. And when the wind is low and the road is empty, I roll down the window and listen. Sometimes, if it's quiet enough, I swear I can still hear it. That swing. Just one. Moving slowly, back and forth.
That's all the stories I have for you today. If you have enjoyed them, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any personal encounters, please feel free to share your stories in the comment section. Until next time, see you!